It's been a historic evening in Washington. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky tonight, 300 some days into the war, new military aid package in hand, including Patriot anti-aircraft missiles, addressing a joint meeting of Congress.
We'll celebrate Christmas. Celebrate Christmas, and even if there is no electricity, the light of our faith in ourselves will not be put out. If Russian missiles attack us, we'll do our best to protect ourselves. If they attack us with Iranian drones and our people will have to go to bomb shelters on Christmas Eve, Ukrainians will still sit down at the holiday table and cheer up each other. And we don't have to know everyone's wish, as we know that all of us, millions of Ukrainians, wish the same: victory. Only victory.
We're joined now by former Secretary of State, U.S. Senator, and 2016 presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Madam Secretary, good to have you on tonight. What are your thoughts about what President Zelensky said tonight?
I thought it was extraordinary, Anderson. It was, as others have said, rousing and inspiring. It also touched all the chords. It connected the struggle of the Ukrainian people to our own revolution, to our own feelings that we want to be warm in our homes to celebrate Christmas, and to get us to think about all the families in Ukraine that will be huddled in the cold, and to know that they are on the front lines of freedom right now. They're fighting, their cause is our cause. And I was thrilled to see the very positive response from the Congress. I also thought that the meeting between President Zelensky and President Biden was substantive and very positive, along with their press conference. It could not have been a better day for him, but more importantly, as he pointed out, a better day for the people of Ukraine and for the cause of democracy and freedom.
Do you think sending a Patriot battery to Ukraine was the right move?
Absolutely. I hope that they will send more than one. I know that there's been some reluctance in the past by not just the United States, but our NATO allies to provide a lot of the advanced equipment, particularly in this case, defensive equipment, which is what the Patriot battery is. But I think we've seen with our own eyes how effective the Ukrainian military is. I think they will be quickly trained to use the Patriot system, and they should be getting as much help as we can give them to end this war as quickly as possible in victory.
There's obviously opposition among some, particularly Republicans in Congress. Kevin McCarthy said something towards the effect of he's not sure American families are going to be willing to continue writing a blank check or having a blank check in a recession to Ukraine. Do you think that Zelensky's visit will have changed any minds on those who were skeptical?
I think it will certainly have strengthened both Democrats and Republicans who understand what's at stake in this fight against Putin and Russian aggression, and now with their ally Iran as well. I also think no one is asking for a blank check. I believe that the Ukrainians have proven that they are a really good investment for the United States. They are not asking us to be there to fight their war. They're fighting it themselves. They're asking us and our allies for the means to not only defend themselves, but to actually win. So I think this had a positive effect. And I agree with some of the people you've already talked with on the program. This was historic. Some people have compared it to when Churchill came 81 years ago and basically asked that the United States continue to stand with them after we'd been attacked, and we did. So there were a lot of points that Zelensky made that were quite resonant with any of us who know how hard our own struggle for freedom and the cost that we've paid to defend it over all these years actually has been.
You've obviously met Vladimir Putin on a number of occasions. I'm wondering what you make of the position that he now finds himself in and what you think he may do?
Well, it's always probably impossible to actually predict, but I think around now, what he is considering is how to throw more bodies, and that's what they will be, bodies of Russian conscripts into the fight in Ukraine. It's been proven, I think, conclusively that he's willing to sacrifice as many Russian men as he can round up throughout the vast reach of the Russian territory. I think he's trying desperately to convince Lukashenko and Belarus to try to get him to be involved. I think so far Lukashenko has played his hand adroitly. He doesn't want to get drawn into that. He doesn't want to see his own military decimated. Where that ends up, I don't think we know yet. So there has to be a moment of reckoning, and it can only come if the cost, both in military losses and in economic pain because of sanctions, continues to increase on Putin. And I thought it was quite smart of Zelensky to make it clear that he's willing to reach out to the Russian people. He, in effect, invited the Russian people to free their minds from the rule of Putin. And by doing so, he is sending a signal that if the Russian people, whether it is people around Putin or more generally people out in the country, understand that this is a war that is Putin's war, not Russia's war, that could also change the internal dynamics that will be confronting Putin. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but the most important thing is to keep supplying them with what they need to keep defeating Russia every chance they get.
Do you think that is a possible scenario of dissent in Russia, whether it's nationwide or among powerful forces around Vladimir Putin, that could actually topple him?
Well, I don't know about topple, but it could certainly influence the calculations he makes. There is some reporting that I have seen coming out of Russia that there is increasing distress and anger among mothers of sons and people who are related to those Russian men who have been rounded up as they come back, having been poorly or not at all trained, having been killed in the front line of Putin's war. That can have an impact. I think information continues, not enough, but still to seep into Russia so that the defeats and the resolve of the Ukrainian people become clearer and clearer. I think there will be jockeying around Putin. One never knows if there is the appetite to do anything directly against him or try to maneuver him so that he's looking for an exit. All of this is happening simultaneous. This is an incredibly complex set of circumstances, Anderson. But right now, I think it's fair to say Ukraine has the upper hand. Ukraine is winning its war thanks to the enormous support we and others have provided, and we need to keep the pressure on Putin.
Hillary Clinton, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.